So it looks like the meeting with North Korea might be back on. Kind of, maybe. And CNN decided to take this opportunity to attack Donald Trump from the right.
All right. Just weeks after insisting that a meeting with Kim would be about total denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, today Trump totally moved the goalpost to basically the 5-yard line.
I think it's a getting to know you meeting plus, and that can be a very positive thing.
Getting to know you plus. That is a far cry from just 2 weeks ago when Kim threatened to call off the summit, and Trump responded by being extremely clear with this.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. Time will tell.
Are you still going to insist on denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula? Yes. Maybe not. But let's just not mince words here. Today was an historic moment. The former North Korean spy chief, one of Kim Jong-un's closest and most trusted aides, was in the Oval Office, and he stayed there for 1 hour and 22 minutes. He and Trump then bid a long goodbye in the Rose Garden. They smiled. They posed for cameras. And Kim Jong-chul's Oval Office access to Trump is historic. No North Korean official has been in the White House in 18 years. And get this, a special waiver had to be issued for the North Korean envoy to leave the 25-mile radius of the UN building in New York City, which a waiver, obviously, Trump granted. Consider this. During the Obama administration and 2 years of negotiations on nuclear armament with Iran, no Iranian diplomat was ever granted that waiver. No Iranian ever visited the Obama White House even after the nuclear deal was signed. Never mind before negotiations even started. And never mind the Oval Office. Trump's effusive welcome, though, did not stop at the pomp and circumstance in the Oval Office. Just this sums it all up. Here he is 1 week ago, and then here he is today after the meeting.
Our very strong sanctions and maximum pressure campaign will continue, as it has been continuing. I don't even want to use the term maximum pressure anymore, because I don't want to use that term, because we're getting along. You see the relationship.
Okay, so maximum pressure is off because we're getting along. I don't need it anymore. So does Trump today seem a bit anxious to please Pyongyang and make a deal? Well, the Senate Majority Leader, Republican Mitch McConnell, sure seems to think so.
I think for these situations to work, you have to not want the deal too much. If you fall in love with the deal, and it's too important for you to get it, and the details become less significant, you could get snookered.
There's a new word, snookered, but it says a lot. And today there was also this jarring juxtaposition. While Trump embraced North Korea, a country whose leader maintains labor camps, allegedly assassinates his rivals, allows his own people to starve, and has released videos like these, promising, quote, the total annihilation of the United States, he simultaneously launched a trade war against America's neighbor and most loyal ally. A point just made by a visibly angry and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of Afghanistan, we have fought and died together. That Canada could be considered a national security threat to the United States is inconceivable.
So Canada is a national security threat, but North Korea is in the Oval Office?
They're attacking him from the right here. So on the tariff question, at this point, I agree with them. Donald Trump has pursued this in the most undiplomatic, stupid way possible, and now we're on the brink of a trade war with almost all of our top allies. So they're right to go after him on the tariff front. But to say that, to be outraged by a North Korean official being in the Oval Office, to say he seems, quote, anxious to please Pyongyang, to play a clip of Mitch McConnell basically arguing maybe a peace deal isn't a good idea, that is exactly what I've been warning about all along, which is it's reflexive and it's reactionary anti-Trumpism. Now, I don't think Trump has a guiding philosophy. He doesn't have a guiding philosophy. I don't think he knows what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. Oftentimes, he's listening to the neocons behind the scenes, and he's being terrible on foreign policy. The one issue where I'm reserving judgment is what ends up happening with North Korea. Now, Trump recently canceled the meeting. The meeting appears to be back on. The details of that escape me. I don't know exactly how or why this came about. But the fact that Trump is out there now saying, I don't even want to use maximum pressure anymore because we're getting along fine. That's not an area where I'm criticizing him. I'm not going to criticize him on that because I prefer we get along. What they're doing here is they're prodding him to be more bellicose and more interventionist and take a harder line. Why? Why would you do that? So they even show the clip like, he said that he was for total denuclearization of North Korea. And then now they're like, is he not for it anymore? And they're framing that as if it's like how dare he not be for total denuclearization anymore? Listen, I got news for you assholes. The only kind of deal that we're ever going to get does not include total denuclearization. They're not going to totally denuclearize. Because what jackass Aaron Burnett doesn't understand is that the United States has proved time and time again, if somebody does denuclearize, that's when we topple their government. Look at what happened with Saddam Hussein. Look at what happened with Muammar Gaddafi. He gave us everything we asked for, and then we toppled him anyway. So that sends a message to everybody else, don't fucking do a deal with the U.S. where you give away your weapons. So I would prefer a deal where we get on neutral terms and there's not the threat and we're not on the brink of war and South Korea and North Korea get along and there's peace, while fully understanding that there's not going to be total denuclearization in that process. I'm willing to accept that because I'm not a fucking idiot. Whereas they, on the other hand, they fearmonger as if like North Korea is an actual direct threat to us, as if they're like about to attack Kentucky. When they're not. Anybody who understands the geopolitical circumstance understands that if anything, we're the fucking aggressor. But they don't give you that perspective on CNN. It's all framed from the perspective of neocons in the national security state. This idea of like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like he's for total denuclearization anymore. Tut tut, Mr. President. A North Korean official in the Oval Office. Ugh. I mean, Obama didn't have Iranian officials in the Oval Office. And what the fuck if he did? If he did, that's not a bad thing. That's fine. Who gives a shit? But again, they're framing it as if it's like, can you believe this guy? He's, quote, anxious to please Pyongyang. They really showed Mitch McConnell as if it's like, now he's keeping it real. Mitch McConnell is saying basically don't do a deal because, hey, maybe the terms are not going to be 100% in our favor. That's not an intelligent point. That's the dumbest point I've ever seen. And that gets to the main point here, which is they're taking that position because they have military-industrial complex donors, guys like Mitch McConnell. So they understand that the military-industrial complex is a big part of the economy in the United States. And peace doesn't sell a lot of weapons now, does it? Doesn't create a lot of jobs now, does it? So they're like, I don't know, peace sounds like a bad idea. Maybe we shouldn't do peace. And the idiots in the media, like Aaron Burnett, go right along with it. They frame it as if Mitch McConnell is a truth teller and Mitch McConnell is keeping it real. And they're acting like it's outrageous that we might have peace. No, that's the problem, CNN. That's the problem. So maybe when Trump accuses you of being fake news, maybe if you don't want that argument to land with regular people, maybe stop doing bullshit fake news segments like this one.